Hello, and thanks for listening to JoJo's Bizarre Podcast. My name's Mark, and as I am every week, I am joined by Miles. Hello, Miles.
Oh, hey.
And of course, we are also joined by Jackie. Hello, Jackie.
Final Fantasy.
What?
Fast Forward.
What?
Fatal Frame.
Oh, FF.
Yes.
That's very good.
Franz Ferdinand.
You're a JJ.
I am a JJ.
And Miles is an MM.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not.
Hell yeah.
But none of us is FF.
None of us is FF, but you guys are double letters. You're like JoJo or Steespy.
Steespy?
Steven Spielberg, remember?
Oh, right.
I could be Jaji.
Anyway, this is a podcast that talks about the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure anime that has been going
Ma is Miles.
since 2012. And we are currently in the middle of Season 5, which is Part 6, Stone Ocean. And on this week's episode, we will be talking about... I hate to use the word episode twice in a sentence, but we will be talking about Episode 8 of Stone Ocean, which is... what is the episode name? I don't even know.
It's FF.
It's FF?
Yes.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I wish I knew that. But before we recap the events...
Is it FF or...
I'm pretty sure it's FF because the Japanese don't actually have like a sound, really.
Okay.
They have more like
Do you think they're sad about that?
I don't think they know.
Oh, okay.
You know, you don't miss it if you don't have... There's sounds in other languages that we don't have, that we don't miss, you know? We're not missing out.
True.
It's true. We don't technically have like a in English.
Mm-hmm.
You don't do that. You know?
You don't get to roll your R's that much?
That's true. Never in English do you roll your R's.
Nope. Not in English.
It's not a thing you do. We have like a very unique... Oh, God, sorry. We have a unique R sound.
Fuck you.
I don't know how many other languages really have our stupid, like dog growl of an R. Every other language is like, it's like an L or a D. Where you
They're
go,
great.
"Lah." And we're like, nah, the tongue ain't touching. We're just going to make a noise. Go.
Wait, in like Scotland or whatever, don't they say like, great?
Yeah. They roll their R's. I don't know if they always roll them, though.
We could just talk like that if you want that sound.
I don't want that sound. So we're good.
Okay.
I do like a Scottish accent, but I don't like my version of a Scottish accent, which is probably awful and offensive.
Groundskeeper Willie.
That was perfect. That was a perfect Scottish accent.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Miles. You'll be our Scottish correspondent. Operating on Greenwich Mean Time, I suppose. Moving on. Or is that even a thing anymore? Now it's all UTC. How boring.
Yeah, there's a lot of UTC.
I don't know.
This is Time Talk, a sub-series of JoJo's Bizarre Podcast.
Time is very difficult. Programmers
put in
out there,
a ticking clock noise.
it's difficult.
Like 60 minutes.
Yeah.
This is our podcast, roughly 71 minutes, probably. Anyway, before we talk about we need to first take a stop in our People's Plankton. Yeah. Our friend fertilizer. What I mean is...
Friendly...
What?
Friendly fire.
I don't like that. We're gonna take a moment here to read emails that our listeners have sent us. They wrote to JoJo's Bizarre Pod at gmail.com, and we're gonna read them. Not late at night to ourselves, but here on this very recording.
Did we get that many emails? We didn't get that many emails.
We got a few in like at the buzzer.
Listeners, don't forget about us. Got to keep writing.
At the buzzer. No. Don't make them.
Well, I'm not gonna make. I'm just saying. I like hearing from you.
You were
guys.
holding a gun to the microphone.
I like hearing from
Looks
you.
like we have a couple.
Wonderful.
We've got like 6.
Okay, that's a good amount.
Oh. This first email is from Santiago, and the subject line is Amogus. Hello, everyone. Hope you are all doing well. I live in the Southern Hemisphere, so I've been struggling with a particularly hot summer. This past week, there was a mean heat wave, and because of it, we've had days of up to 41 degrees Celsius. I believe it's around 105 degrees Fahrenheit. So just to satisfy my curiosity, what do you prefer, winter or summer? How do you cope with high temperatures? Regarding JoJo, this week I don't have much to say, apart from the fact that the woman with the eggshell hair from the OP appeared and exploded. I'll talk a little bit more about it next week. For now, there's an imposter among us. P.S. Sorry for misspelling your name last week. Mark with no K. I guess that's okay.
Yeah. So this email must have come in like right after we recorded.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
I think I prefer summer, even though I sunburn easily. It's just not as depressing as winter, and you don't have to snuffle. You don't have to snuffle any shows. Because I fucking hate snow shoveling. I don't know about 105-degree weather though. That sounds like hell.
Yeah, that's too much, man. I'll tell you, normally I like summer, but now that I live in the South, this is the first summer where I was like, okay, that's enough.
What? Why?
Because it's so humid here. Like even like early in the morning, it's humid.
Is it more humid than the Philippines?
I don't know. I can't remember.
I have to imagine it's fucking humid over there.
It's probably not as humid as the Philippines. And the Philippines is probably hotter in general.
But at least you could just go to the beach very easily because it's islands. North Carolina,
that's true.
You gotta drive to the coast.
Yeah, I'm
Who
like
knows how
2
far that
hours
is.
away from the beach.
Yeah, fuck that. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody knows I like hot weather. I don't care if it's 100.
Everybody knows.
Everybody knows.
Everybody knows.
And how do I deal with it? I just wear less clothes and it's great. Just shorts and like a loose white like tank top. Easy.
Ease.
Or a skirt. Perfect. You wear a skirt, everything. The wind just flows through your legs and everything is good. Just keep it loose. Keep it short. Keep it light colors. And I like tanning. I like going to the beach. I like the water.
So you're saying you like winter is what I'm getting.
No, I like hot.
Oh.
I don't like the cold at all. Like I have a heater in like even though it's not that cold in my office, I still have a little space heater to keep me warm.
Yeah, I use air conditioning. That's what I do when it's hot. I love AC. It's a great feeling.
AC is good. AC
Drinking
is good.
cold drinks.
But if you don't have that, you just wear less clothes and you sweat.
You can only do that so much that
and
you
you
can't take your skin off.
No, you go in the shade. You drink something cold. Eat some ice cubes.
Oh, these are things everybody knows.
Just, you know.
I thought we could break new ground on this week's episode.
Or just embrace it. Just fucking fry yourself out in the sun like an egg.
Yeah, no, I tried that once. It wasn't good. I had 2nd-degree burns on my back. It was a nightmare.
I lay out on my hammock when the weather is nice. That's what I want to do now.
I lay out
on a
under
hammock.
Jackie on the hammock.
You do not.
So there's shade. It's true, I don't.
You could do that.
Inside the house is all shade, so I do that.
This next email is from Lucas. The subject line is Correspondence Corner. Hi, JJB Pod crew. I love your podcast. It helps me getting through high school. I already watched all JoJo seasons on Crunchy and Netflix. I really like how Miles interrupts Mark and Jackie supports it. I think I'm going to start a podcast too.
Aww.
Thank you, Lucas.
Thanks, Lucas.
Thanks, Lucas. That was a very long sentence.
I like it.
Yeah.
What's correspond? What?
Supposed to be correspondence.
Oh, but Miles said it funny.
Because there's no N in it. There's no.
Oh, okay.
There's missing a second N.
I thought it
also.
I thought it was like a real word that meant something, and that's why you laughed. And I was like, "What does that word mean?"
No, I laughed at Miles being like pedantic enough to read the typo.
Okay.
Not that I'm above that, or I probably have done that on this podcast.
Okay.
To continue to be pedantic, this person misspelled both of our names.
Oh yeah.
Just the guys though.
Yeah.
Lucas got my name correct.
Also,
thank you, Lucas.
Misspelled through and wrote trough.
Tro.
No, it's trough. Is how you pronounce that.
That's how you say trough?
Yeah.
Trough, that's a real word?
What got you guys through high school?
Not JoJo's.
I mean, maybe 9 Inch Nails and maybe Evangelion, although I don't know, man. I don't know if that really helped.
Yeah, I don't think that helped.
I don't know. I think music and the internet. Learning about computers and stuff.
I think music and friendship.
I think I'm drawing a blank. I can't think of anything.
You didn't get through high school.
I don't think
there.
I did. I was pretty sad. I think just being able to go back to my hometown is for the first half of high school anyway.
Also the cinema. I think movies were helpful to me. Learning about movies and saying my favorite movie.
You know what? I have an answer.
What is it?
AOL Instant Messenger. AIM.
Hell yeah.
America.
AIM was good.
America Instant Messenger.
No, that's not. No.
America. This is you.
Okay. That's
But
right.
yeah, just like chatting with people on the internet and going on message boards and stuff. Online friends because in real life I didn't have that many friends.
Yeah, who needs them?
And like you can talk to people more deeply, like with strangers on the internet who are like also cool weirdos who like the same things that you like, you know?
Yeah. It's harder to be honest when you're face to face.
Yeah.
I miss AIM.
Yeah. I miss AIM too. Except you couldn't like sync. You couldn't like get up from your computer and go talk on your phone.
No, you had to be at your computer. You had to be sitting there with
And
bad posture.
You had to say BRB. And do you guys remember when you were like texting or whatever and you realized like, I don't have to say that I'm going anywhere. Just fuck it. Just whatever. It's on my phone and maybe I'm not going to talk.
I'll respond to you like 2 hours later when I can respond to my text.
Maybe you should say BRB and BBL.
We know that you have your phone on you all the time. So if you're not talking to us, like after a while, we know that it's on purpose.
Yeah, but we also know that like we didn't expect a response. Whereas like I don't remember if it was my uncle or my dad who like when texting and stuff became a thing, like always online messaging, one of them would like message and then I just wouldn't respond because it's like, no, I'll get to it. They'd be like, hello? And it's like, this is a text message. This is not a phone call. It's, you know.
It doesn't have to be like real time.
Yeah.
Like like
well, then all you iPhone weirdos got the whole read and unread status thing first, and you could be like, he left me on red.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't respond. Man, communication. Anyway.
Now I'm on Slack.
Now you're on Slack, so you could hear psh.
Because I'm an adult.
Oh, I hate that noise.
Psh.
Yeah.
Slack is good though, the way it has threads and stuff, and you can leave one open on the right. It's good.
Threading, emojis. It has the remind function is how I do my job is by using the remind where you where you right click. There's the menu and you say like remind me in like an hour or whatever. Remind me tomorrow, whatever. That's how I do my job. I just keep the reminders.
Don't forget about /remind.
Yes, I use that too.
All right, I don't know any of this advanced shit. I just started my corporate job.
Okay, Mark, I can teach you all about Slack.
All right, fine.
This email is from Josh. Subject line is Jersey Boys. Hey there, JJBP crew. Been a bit since I last wrote, but I've been super glad to listen to you guys talk about JoJo's again. Once again, the best part of my Wednesdays. This is the weirdest part so far, and these next few episodes will only get weirder. I meant to write last week, but I was actually in the Lehigh Valley area of New Jersey visiting my boyfriend for a few days. Went and saw Scream 5 and had a good time otherwise, though the snowstorm delayed my flight and I had to run through the same airport in Chicago as the one from Home Alone 2. Really nice highways, guys, just some 10 out of 10 transit. This is the content that we want people to write into us about. Anyway, about the episode, the best girl has arrived. I forgot that Foo Fighters' body was previously Atro and Atro had died, and it was fun to hear Miles and Jackie theorize on why she was in the intro if she just blew up. I'm not sure what Araki was thinking when he came up with sentient plankton, but I personally think it was a stroke of genius. It'll be fun to see all the anime-only fans fall in love with Foo Fighters like most of the manga readers. Next week's episode is one of my favorite fights of all of JoJo's, so I'll probably be writing in again to talk about it. Until then, Josh. P.S. My boyfriend thought the section on part 4 before Kira shows up was boring, so we haven't watched the Kira stuff yet. How do I convince him to watch it? Ah, really? Okay. P.P.S. Every time I close my eyes, I wake up feeling stone-free. How do we get boyfriends to watch the beginning of part 4 before?
Ultimatum.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Like, oh, we'll break up if you don't.
Yes. It's the only way.
No, don't do it. I don't want to be responsible for ruining Josh's relationship.
It sounds like Josh's boyfriend would be responsible.
No.
Who doesn't like part 4? I mean, it is not as compelling as when Kira shows up, but yeah, I mean, part of me thinks that if he doesn't like it so far, then we can't, 100% know that he'll like it when Kira shows up.
Maybe.
We don't know.
Maybe he'll like...
Use a gun.
Don't use a gun.
Use a gun. Put a gun in a piece of paper.
Maybe if there's an episode you think that's more his style, maybe show him that. Like, show him something out of order that you think he'll like.
Yeah, show him Kira.
Yeah. Yeah, just start from like, this is Kira. All right, now we have to watch the rest of you. Now we have to watch from the beginning in order for you to get more of this.
Yeah, show them the one that has the double. Well, in the comic, it was the double page splash where Kira just blows up some girl's boyfriend in a bathroom. Or maybe show.
No, show like an early one with Kira where he's just like, where he's just trying to live his normal. What is it? He wants to live a quiet life.
But
or
I don't know.
whatever.
I do kind of like when he becomes Kosaku and is just trying to live like
Someone
a
else's
regular
life.
family man life. And he
Yeah.
just took over
That's
that
good
guy's
stuff.
body, and he's showering with his son. He's playing Shower with Your Dad simulator. That might repulse him. I don't know this person, but maybe it'll intrigue him.
You know, it's weird. I've showered with my son now. I'm Kira.
Aw.
I don't think that's the only other example of dads showering with kids.
Oh, I've also blown people up.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Talk to their hands.
Okay, good. Perfect. Anyway.
I love this email because Josh talks about New Jersey
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
and
points.
talks about transit specifically, because I feel like this used to be like almost what our podcast was about. And now we no longer talk about transit because we
JoJo's
all
was-
work at home.
It was JoJo's Bizarre Podcast where we talk about transit. Yeah. We talk about like commuting. Yeah, we all live at home. We all work from home, so we don't have to go anywhere. And there's the pandemic. We don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And we're
and
fine.
It's
Whoa.
everything's
Everything's
great.
fine. Yep. Everything's good.
Fine.
We're all fine. We still haven't seen Scream 5, Mark. We need to see Scream 5.
We do. I think I haven't really pushed for us to watch it because I've been thinking about seeing it in a theater, which feels weird because of COVID, and it won't be as crazy, but people say like seeing Scream in theaters is great. And I think we did see 4 in theaters actually,
Well,
but I don't remember it.
if we wait, actually, Josh, write back and let us know if the theater was crowded.
Well, we don't know if Josh's situation, he doesn't live in Lehigh Valley.
But he watched it in New Jersey. He said he
Oh,
watched it
right.
in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so we should go to Lehigh Valley.
No,
I've never been that far.
I think
West
Listen,
in
you're
New
going to
Jersy.
take 80 west and
Of
then
course.
probably like 287 south a ways.
Wait, I've been to
31 maybe. I don't know.
What's that town I've been to? I went to some fucking random bar with an old coworker. That was pretty far west. Watch me look, and it's like it's nowhere near this fucking part of the state.
well, and I think that like if the movie's been out for a little while, it's not going to be too crowded when we go see it. You know?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Go
but
in
I
the
don't
morning.
know.
Ooh, that's true.
Maybe I want it to be crowded,
Mark, maybe we can find the first showing and go before you start work.
but maybe I want people yelling in the theater. Maybe that's what makes it worth it. I've never been here in New Jersey. What is this?
I think if you go early, it's going to be like teenagers and obnoxious. It's going to be obnoxious teenagers. And
Yeah,
if
but
you go,
that's correct.
if you go later, then it's adults. Like past midnight, it's adults.
Anyway,
Okay.
thanks for writing, Josh.
Next email.
Next email is from Leia. The subject line is stickers and bracelets. Good morning, JJB Pod. I thought of something during this and the last JoJo episode. What if Hermes put a sticker on the guard's bracelet and just took a copy with her? That could basically free them up from having to be close to the guard. But I guess it would depend on which way the signal goes. If the lady's bracelets measure the distance from the guard, this should work.
Mm.
But if it's the other way, and the guard's bracelet is the one tracking the others, then I guess they would just have 2 deadly explosion bracelets to keep track of now. On second thought, maybe this isn't worth trying after all. Thanks, crew, Leia. I don't quite get what's happening here.
I get it.
What's up, Miles?
I get it too.
What are you going to say?
I was going to say that Virginia Woolf describes writing as the theater of the mind, and I feel like that's what we got here. We got
Ooh.
Leah's whole thought process, opening the idea and closing the idea.
Wow.
I mean,
Nice job.
Well, is the idea that if you cloned the bracelet, then maybe you still have to be close to the original?
It's like I thought of it as like a programming problem, right?
Oh,
or
no.
or like what's the, because you think that like in order for the bracelet to work, it needs to do some kind of check, right? Is it checking like, is the like how far is the bracelet from me, or is it checking Is it checking on the other side? Is it checking from the cop how far it is from him? But it's probably checking.
But how the hell would it know what the cop is? The cop is wearing a bracelet. It's the only way he's part of the program.
Yeah.
Unless he puts something in his body. That would be crazy.
I think it's on each bracelet, but it could, like, I think if it detects two signals, it probably just does. I don't know what it does. It probably breaks.
Well, I guess the question is like,
because they never anticipated to handle two signals, you know?
Well, if there's a second, maybe it's like not perfect, you know, and then that would be scary because then you think you're good, but then then they both.
It's
blow
too
up.
risky.
It's pretty risky. I mean, in JoJo's though, I feel like if Araki thinks of it as a solution, then it works, you know.
Yes.
So there's that aspect of it, but yeah, that is worrisome. Yeah, what if you clone it and it just blows up immediately? There's some security feature thinks it's being.
Yeah, that's true. Because I think they said that if you tamper with it, it's going to blow up, right?
All the bomb people say that in movies and stuff.
Yeah.
I think they lie. I think that if you tamper with the bomb, it's fine.
No, I think that there's an if else, and then the final else that catches everything is just blow up. So like if it doesn't meet any of the conditions that are known, everything else gets caught in we're blowing up.
Well, I think that maybe what it would be is the original would still blow up because it is far away from the other ones, but you would just have a clone bracelet that doesn't blow up because... No,
but
wait.
It's not the guard's bracelet
Right.
It's the lady's bracelet.
I see. Right. So, yeah, if you had a clone... Yeah, it's like one would say to the bracelets, blow up, and the other one wouldn't say anything.
Yeah.
So you would just blow up, I think. But who knows?
I like that the Gmail auto responses to this are, I think that's a great idea. Great idea. I like that idea.
Yeah. It's because...
Should we respond? I like that idea.
Leah started with, I thought of something. And so Gmail's like, wow. Yeah, my brother, when my dad would send emails to my brother and I mean, my brother would give a genuine response, but he would also tell us what the Google auto responses were. It was pretty funny.
The subject line of this email is Rocky Horror JoJo Show, and it's from Kenny. Hey guys, just watched FF and wanted to share some quick thoughts. The overall tone of this episode was hella creepy. The black ooze, swamp monster, dried up corpses, and FF super long tongue. I wasn't ready for that. I also wasn't ready for the big reveal of Father Pucci in the end. His hair is still more unexplainable than King Crimson's ability. I'm not sure if I like his voice actor, but he hasn't had that many lines yet, so we'll see. The voice actor of FF in Atro's body did some really creeping sounding voice for her. I always envisioned her more with a more happy, lighthearted voice because she's a really quirky, funny character. And not to spoil anything, but FF is and will be the best character in the goddamn show. I really enjoyed Jackie's and Miles' theories on how Atro will come back to life. Any more creative ideas on the role and abilities of FF or Father Pucci? My favorite moments this episode were when Jolene and Hermes got the universe explained by a bunch of plankton in the thinker pose. And when Hermes kicked a swamp monster so hard in the balls, it exploded. Anyway, have a nice week, guys. Until next time, Kenny. P.S. Every time I get turned into a disc and get shoved between FF's boobs, I wake up feeling so horny. That's a good one.
That's good. Do you think FF is her cup size in that moment?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Double Fs?
At the end, yeah. After the post-CD.
Oh, I wanted to try this and I didn't do it.
We were going to take a CD and shove it between Jackie's boobs.
And just see how much of it is concealed or not.
Yeah, because I mean, we'll talk about the episode, but you have to have ridiculously deep cleavage to mask an entire fucking CD.
Do you think you could hide a CD in your butt crack?
No.
No.
100% no.
Okay. I don't think
I've tried.
A big butt.
A Sony mini disc?
Oh,
yeah.
that's true. Maybe you got to be fat or have a big butt.
No, but the mini discs are thicker. They're not like
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
Okay.
You could fit.
So you didn't do the CD thing?
No, we didn't try it. We don't have any CDs.
I could find we have CDs downstairs. Video game CDs.
Look, I'm not encouraging you to do this.
During the break, during the break, I'm going to try it, but I'm not going to show you or anything.
Okay. I'll just accept whatever you say as truth. That's what I'll do. Yeah, it's weird, like reading.
We'll sell the CD on our OnlyFans.
And by OnlyFans, Miles means the warehouse we own off Route 80 that we just sell ventilation devices. It's really unfortunate that we named our business OnlyFans.
I also have a lot to say, by the way, about that. The universe explained by plankton
I love
thing.
that.
I have a lot
Me
to
too.
say.
Reading the
but
comic, I don't know if the anime had all this stuff in the background. Did you guys see DNA ladders and stuff?
Oh no.
And like
I'm not sure.
microscopic, like ancient like animals and stuff in the background?
I think there might have been some
And there's like
pictures.
a galaxy and shit. I think there's a galaxy.
There were galaxies.
But yeah, I read the manga today, and yeah, that moment is great. Because it's it's just like this plankton sounds like Hirohiko Araki. Like, just learned something about history. Let's move on though. We haven't finished emails.
Okay, this is the last email. It's from Chad. Subject line is mistakes were made. Aloha JJB Pod Ohana. I owe you hosts and the listeners a bit of an apology. See, a couple weeks back, I stated that the person that is the voice of Whitesnake also supplied the voice of the TV version of Jay Guile. While that's true of the JoJo's All-Star Battle version of Whitesnake, there's a completely different voice actor playing the TV version of Whitesnake, and unsurprisingly, his stand user. So, my bad for not being thorough with my voluntary research that nobody asked for. Thank you, Chad. Here's the correct and actual JoJo voice connection that I should have found. The Part 6 TV animation version of Whitesnake and his stand user share their voice actor with the fourth children Toji Suzuhara from Evangelion franchise and Mobile Fighter G Gundam main character Domon Kashu. Also, the mysterious voice role I hinted at last week. Surprise, it's just Foo Fighters. I hope everyone is doing well and staying safe. Mahalo, Chad. P.S. Every time I need to hide half of my new friend's dad's soul, I make my boobs bigger.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
It's perfect. Ass cheeks would have been easier, certainly. Thinking about this.
And Chad, no need to apologize. We should have fact checked you.
We should have double checked.
Imagine if we just fact checked Chad's emails every week.
Well, there have been times where I've checked and then I'm like, oh, I didn't know that at the same time. But often then I'd also look it up and be like, we got the same information. I don't need to do this.
Yeah. We trust you.
We trust you. For what? No, it's fine. I always forget that Toji is the fourth child in Eva, because I think that lasts like one episode or some shit.
Poor guy.
Could be wrong. I barely remember the guy existed until we watched like the reboots, and I was like, oh yeah, that guy. Anyway, thanks for writing. Those were emails, again, sent to jojosbizarrepod@gmail.com. One thing we want to tell you about, before we talk about JoJo's for real, sorry, is we have a Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/jjbpod, you can support the show. You can just pledge $1 a month, and we don't care. We're not going to send you messages like, come on, bump it up, pal. Are you serious? That's all you can do. We're not going to do that. We haven't done it. You can also pledge $3 a month. Both of them, however, get you access to the Patreon feed, which includes extra content, Miles' weekly cultural reference newsletter. But for all the $3 patrons, we're going to do something that we do every week, which is say thank you on the air, like this. I can't share my screen.
Are you just going to read it?
Oh no.
I don't know. What if you guys just tried to tell me all of the patron names that you remember,
Okay.
and I just clean up?
How many are there?
I was counting them. It tells you at the top. 18.
18.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Jackie, you go first.
Are we like alternating?
Okay.
I think we should.
Okay. Tyler.
Yeah, I should say that we haven't had any new patrons from last week. That's why you guys.
Okay.
I'm not cheating you out of this.
Okay, I started.
Okay, you said Tyler.
Mhm.
Okay.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Bloof.
Thank you, Kassoon.
Yup.
Thank you, Caleb.
Yup.
Thank you, Chad.
Yep. Well, it's just gonna be real
Thank
awkward if you
you.
guess someone who's gone. I'm gonna be like, oh no.
Thank you, Martin.
Yep.
Thank you, Ken Barron.
That's right.
Oh, it's getting tough now. Thank you.
I have to cut out you saying it's tough now because it's gonna sound like you don't think about these people.
Thank you, Tim.
That's right.
Thank you, Katie.
That is right.
Thank you.
And
I can't think of any more.
all right, I've got Christian. Also got Michael. We've got Austin. We got
Austin.
Nick. We got Caden. Kenny.
Oh, we can't forget Kenny. Sorry.
It's too late.
God damn it.
Nocturnal.
We can't forget Nocturnal.
Dylan.
Ah.
And Jumbo.
We're the worst.
You're all the worst. I have no idea if I would have been able to do it now, though. I had all the names in the palm of my hand.
We got like half of them, right?
More than half, I think. Well, maybe half.
Yes.
Maybe half.
I think we got like 8.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I will say I've gotten better at the country thing.
The country thing?
Yeah, naming all the countries of a particular continent.
Okay. This is different.
Well, I think I could do these names off the top of my head, but now it's too recent. Maybe next week.
No, if you ask me to do it again, maybe I'll get some more names.
No, you'll forget some of the ones you said first time.
I'll get Kenny, Jumbo, Michael, Caden.
Look, she doesn't even know.
No, I know them.
She's forgetting the other ones. The thing is, how am I going to edit this? Should I just insert myself saying the missing ones in between you guys so it sounds like we all knew?
No, don't. This whole thing unedited. Now the listeners know which ones we remember and which ones we don't.
All the listeners right now are hitting the fast forward button and going, they're still doing this? They're still on this topic? But anyway, thank all of you so much for supporting the show. We really mean
everyone.
It. We really appreciate it. And we hope that you continue despite our awful memories. But that's why we have the website. We can just look at the list of patrons. Thank God.
And that website is thelistofpatrons.com.
It's patreon.com/JJBpod, probably /admin or something. But you don't get to go there. You don't know our login. Haha. Anyway, let's take a quick break and then talk in more detail about episode 8 of Stone Ocean FF.
Okay, I'm going to pee.
BRB.
Okay. And we're back to talk about FF, or episode 8 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean, which, if you didn't know, covers chapters 30 through 33 of the original manga. And, I don't think Araki's been doing these weekly chapter authors comment bits, but one of the JoJo wikis said that on chapter 32, Araki commented the following. What happened to Coulthard in Formula 1? He became fast. He used to be a wimp. So, Araki just using his space in the JoJo release to talk about a Formula 1 racer from the United Kingdom. Didn't know that Araki followed Formula 1, but now I do.
Now everyone loves Formula 1.
Is that a thing?
Not me, but...
Really?
It's become very popular because of that Netflix show, Drive to Survive or something like that.
I've never heard of that. Well, Formula 1, they don't just go in circles, right? They drive through scenic routes in Europe?
That's right.
Yeah, that seems way better than NASCAR.
And all the cars are souped up. I mean, the same thing in NASCAR. But they follow a formula. Formula 1.
Ah, the first one. Hasn't anybody tried to come out with Formula 2? Anyway. We're just being idiots because people who are listening now, they're fucked. They already stuck around listening to this podcast. They're going to want to finish it.
They can turn it off at any time. We haven't even talked about JoJo's yet.
No, don't turn it off. Sorry, I'm kidding. We're going to talk about JoJo's. I guess the rest of my notes we can talk about as we talk about the episode. Except, actually, no. You know what? On Connor's Twitch, who's CDogVA, he had a English JoJo voice actor panel on his Twitch channel. So friend of the show, Kira Buckland, and Casey Mongillo, and the other people's names. Tiana Camacho. I forget the other two's names, but the voices of Poochie / Whitesnake and Foo Fighters were there as well. And a bit that I think people might find interesting is that the voice actor for Poochie mentioned that when he was coming up with the Whitesnake voice, he partially took inspiration from Squidward, was it?
No,
Who was
Patrick.
it? Patrick.
Patrick Star.
From SpongeBob. I'm not a SpongeBob person. I just missed it.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, apparently if you listen to Whitesnake, some of that is influenced by Patrick. You heard it here second, folks. Do you know SpongeBob, Miles? I feel like I was like I just too old by the time it really got popular.
I watched a lot of television
Oh,
growing up.
I was too old too. I was like,
but you have cousins.
no,
Oh,
I was 14. Like other
you were a child. Brain.
other 14-year-olds were also watching it
Losers.
and making fun of it, and not making fun of it. It was just
Like, haha, it's so dumb. I love it.
It's a silly, cute show. I also watched Hamtaro because I thought it was adorable, and that's a show for babies.
I would watch Hamtaro now.
I
I'm
think
interested.
there's like legit funny stuff in SpongeBob.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, I've seen bits and pieces of it, and it does seem like a funny show. Like Ren and Stimpy or Rocco still has
Yeah.
moments that are funny.
Yeah.
It has stuff that is stupid to me now, but you
Yeah.
know, it's made by adults. They're going to make themselves laugh at some point.
Yeah.
That's right.
Anyway, Jackie, what were you researching?
Oh, so I tried to put a CD in between my boobs, and it didn't really hide anything. You would definitely spot the CDs. And then I took a measuring tape out and I measured the CD, and the CD is about 5 inches in diameter. And then I looked up because I know that you can take like inches and kind of translate that to cup sizes.
Be like an E cup.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my research.
I knew that. I don't wear a bra.
That was my research. Was
I'm a
just to like
pervert.
see what the cup size would need to be. And
But it's also
if you're a 34 band, then it needs to be because it also depends on the band
of course,
size.
if you go down a band size, you can go up a cup size.
Yes, Mark has studied bra. Mark is a bra salesman.
That's right. I'm George from Seinfeld for like half an episode.
Right. So it would be like if the band is a 34, which I think is like average for a lot of women, though she's probably like a 32 or something, like skinny.
Yeah, Araki likes to draw petite people after part 3. Part 3, the average JoJo character's chest size, I think, was 70 inches or something
Yeah.
insane.
Anyway, she had to grow her boobs to be triple D or E. I don't understand. I don't know what triple D is or E. I guess.
I think it depends. The different countries have different rules
Yeah.
for the cup sizes.
I'm going to Google what a triple D looks like.
Yeah, open incognito window there,
Oh
buddy.
yeah. Who has triple? Is there any like?
There's K cups and shit. They go up there, and I don't mean Keurig.
34
I thought you did mean Keurig first.
I know. I realized as I said it, I'm like, where have I said that before?
boobies. That's what I'm googling.
Hope you have ad block on.
No,
But the thing is,
found a YouTube video
yeah,
trying to find the perfect bra for my boobs.
please sign in to confirm your age. I'm guessing.
Hold on. I need to watch this ad. Okay, skip. Do we get to see
Jackie's turning
her
the phone
boobs?
for the maximum fillable size.
Oh,
of
we
the
do
screen.
see her boobs.
What?
Okay, they're good.
Turn the phone around.
Boobs.
It's too much glare
Yeah,
for
that's
me.
good. Yeah.
Boobies.
Yeah, those are some boobs.
Anyway,
They're boobs.
listen, here's my thing about this, right? I haven't like studied FF's character design super well, but isn't she just wearing overalls?
I didn't really pay attention.
Yeah.
Because
She's wearing a shirt under the overalls, right? Or no?
I just think that if you have big boobs, like everyone's boobs are different. Some breasts are very dense, some aren't. A lot of them can sag. So
Yes.
you could have huge boobs, but they're just sort of droopy. You're not fitting a CD
But
there.
Foo Fighters they can do whatever they want. They can, and they're made of water.
That's true.
They just fill up the boobs like a water balloon and
Then-
just like keep them up.
Then why didn't she or they just shove the CD inside their body? You know what I mean? If they're not really a person, they're just like a bunch of water, plankton, and fake.
I don't know.
Just
Foo
shove the
Fighters
water
was
in
like,
your-
I have boobs now. Let me make them big.
Yeah,
Why
You
not?
should have just shoved the
That's
CD in your
true.
chest.
So I also learned that if you Google Foo Fighters, you don't automatically get JoJo's. There seems to be a
That's weird.
band that's more known for the name.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, FF is my hero. You know what I mean?
Good.
Anyway, she really threw a monkey wrench in Father Poochie's plans
Let's move on.
this episode.
She's just wearing overalls.
Ever long. Yeah. So this episode is it picks up off a cliffhanger where it was sort of a whodunit style episode where Jolene and Hermes are on their little volunteer mission that everyone thought would be a walk in the park, and they could just go find these White Snake's secret CD collection.
And they're all like pointing at it. They're like, and the enemy is one of you, and like, who are you? And you weren't here before, and everybody's just pointing fingers at each other, and nobody remembers anyone. And the black-haired girl, they're like, with the ponytail, they're like, oh, when did your nose start bleeding? When I punched a stand, someone stumbled. And she's like, no, I got punched by figure eight face over here. The girl with the figure eight tan line.
The tanned prisoner is how the wiki and other people call her, I think.
Yeah. And so they all suspect each other. And Jolene just punches the ponytail girl. And Aramis is like, oh, wow, how'd you figure out it was her? And she's like, I didn't. I'm just going to knock the shit out of all of them. And she just tries to knock them all out. But so then she goes to hit the second one. And the third one grabs her hand.
Yeah,
and
she goes to hit Tand again. She goes to hit Tand after hitting Ponytail, and Undercut grabs her Stan's arm, right?
Yeah, something like
her
that.
arm, and she starts talking to her, but the sentence like continues among them, like they're all saying words.
All three of them are talking, like and it's like, oh, okay, so all three of them got replaced. And they're saying something about how like your thread power is a pain in the ass. They're also cursing a lot.
And they're saying that,
like, you fucking shit, bitch.
They're saying that, they're saying fucking shit, bitch.
They said fuck and shit and bitch a couple times.
All right. But they're saying that basically,
and
the whodunitness of it all is like bullshit. They're all the bad guy.
Yeah.
They're all dead. This guy killed two of them and then made the third one up.
And they started leaking black all out of their eyes and their mouth. And
it's awesome.
And they say the black-haired girl and the shaved head were here from the beginning. So the mystery is solved. But then Foo Fighters took over their body, and the additional person, which was the figure eight face, was made up of the bodies of the disappeared inmates.
Here's my question.
Yes.
Why did Foo Fighters do that? Like, making an extra person is what made Jolene and Aramis realize something was wrong. Why not just possess the two women and just leave the corpses wherever? Why'd you have to make a new person? Why'd you do that?
They probably needed the new person to talk to the existing people or something. They should have gotten rid of the old person.
They can all talk. The plankton can make all of them talk. I think it was stupid to make another person. I think that's Araki thinking that would be a cool twist to realize there's an extra person among you, but then it doesn't matter.
Well, I don't think this thing is a fucking genius. I think it just
I'm going
to join. I'm going to infiltrate their... It probably infiltrated their group and then took over their bodies.
Okay, so maybe it started as the tan prisoner, and then Ponytail and Shaved Head were like, you're cool, you've got a weird like shape on your face. And they were like, bleh.
Yeah, like it's possible earlier in the last episode, it's possible that some of them were still, alive.
Yes.
And then...
Because they had to go fight the plankton monster and ride a bunch of webs around. Did you guys like when they were all melting and talking with goop coming out of them?
Yes.
Thought it was great.
It was cool.
It was spooky. Certainly not an answer to the whodunit we could have predicted, although I feel like we should have known better, knowing Araki, that it wasn't just going to be one of them going, it was me, the butler.
Yeah.
I did it.
It was an Agatha Christie kind of thing. Everyone is the murderer.
Is that a thing?
I think in Murder on the Orient Express, that's... Spoiler alert, that's how...
Come on.
Oh, that was made into a movie, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think probably more than one.
I saw the movie, but there was a recent one, right?
There is a recent one, yes.
With like known actors.
With known actors.
I think they all have known actors.
I saw it.
You just spoiled it,
in
though.
one of those, I think at like the iPic movie theater in Fort Lee.
That shit is expensive. It's cool, but...
I think it was for a birthday or something like that. But anyway, it kind of sucked because like... You're eating your food, and then the waiter comes or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, the movie's about to end, so I'm going to clean up your plate."
I know.
And I was like, why would you tell me the movie's about to end?
I hate when they do that. That happened to me at one of the dine-in. I think it was I don't know if it was iPic or if it was one of the AMC dine-ins.
I think it was AMC.
And they were like, "Hey, so
Garbage.
the movie's getting close," and I was like, "Fuck you, I know, but I don't want to think about it.
Yeah,
I want to pretend this movie will go on forever."
Ruined everything.
My dad was telling me. My dad does this thing where he reads a book. And then that book is like the conversation you have with the man for the next like 2 hours. But one of the books, I didn't care about the guy that it was about so much. But then he also told me that the movie business really started in like Fort Lee, New Jersey. I knew it was a New Jersey thing.
That's true.
Because of Edison. But he told me that they filmed part of or all of the Great Train Robbery from like 1890 in the Oranges, like West Orange and East Orange and stuff. I had no idea.
Fort Lee was Hollywood before Hollywood.
That's crazy. And now, like, I feel like, and I like Fort Lee. I think it's a cool town. But I feel like you go there and they should be fucking advertising that everywhere. If I go into the iPic movie theater, they should be like, this used to be Hollywood, you young piece of shit.
I think they tried when that opened, like they tried to like squeeze in like, okay, we'll let you open this movie theater, but you have to open like a little museum about Fort Lee movie history. I don't know if they actually did it though.
I guess not. I guess I pick and choose what I want to do with my establishment.
Boom.
Boom. That's right. Your movies probably cost $1 bajillion. We saw The Irishman there, and we were like in the front row. And boy, that was hard.
Anyway, the plankton thing had like a body form. It was like all black with like yellow markings on it.
Yeah, it's cool.
It is cool.
It has multiple forms, actually. Because at one point, it splits up, and one chases Jolene and one attacks Hermes.
I thought one was the stand, maybe, and the other one was the user.
They're kind of
what do
both.
I know? Okay.
Is the plankton Foo Fighter?
Yes.
Foo Fighters?
Foo Fighters. They are multiple fighters.
Yes.
I'm gonna use they, them, but not singular for this.
Okay.
I think. until they embody the girl H. Row or whatever.
Yeah.
Then they can be she.
Plankton is also a villain in SpongeBob SquarePants.
That's true.
Oh, is that true?
Yes, Plankton.
Mm-hmm.
That's the name, just Plankton?
Yeah, he's just Plankton.
Yes.
Oh. They're so small, though.
He's a rival restaurateur.
Oh, okay.
He owns the Chum
Krusty
Bucket.
Krab.
Ah.
He owns the Chum Bucket. And I think it's across the street from the Krusty Krab.
When we're done with Stone Ocean, our next anime will be
SpongeBob
SquarePants. We'll watch the Japanese dub.
I feel like there is an anime version of SpongeBob, like where an episode where they just change the style of it. I feel like that has to exist.
That'd be cool.
I feel like it exists.
I think that'd be fun to do. Just take something that's made for kids and just make it your own fun artistic outlet, and be like, this week we're going to do this style and the kids might not get it, but fuck them.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Fuck them. Anyway,
so yeah, their bodies are all melty and goo's coming out of their head. And by the way, I noticed in English, but I didn't notice this in Japanese. Like the voice is supposed to be the same, right? When it's H. Row versus like the Foo Fighters scary demon voice, right?
I'm not sure. H. Row barely talks.
Oh, okay. Because it sounded like a woman's voice.
You're saying like after
English.
they turn into Foo Fighters?
Yes.
H. Row version?
Yes.
Well, I think the stand one is definitely slowed down.
Yeah,
that's like not a.
It sounds like a woman who's like trying to talk
Yes.
really deep. That's what it sounds like, and
I believe so.
then they add like background scary noises to her voice.
They add a lot of like echo, and but I believe it's also
cool.
slowed down.
It's cool though because in the Japanese version, I thought it was a dude. I thought it was a manly voice.
Well, you just watched the dub, and I only heard or saw part of it, so you would know better. But I just remember in the Japanese one, I think they just slowed down the person's voice. Yeah, I like Foo Fighters. I don't quite understand where the user and the stand, like where one ends and one begins. But their design is fine.
We learned that Whitesnake gave some plankton a disc. No, I guess a single, maybe it was a singular plankton. He gave it a disc, and then it started to multiply itself, and its multiplied form is how it can like take on a more complex organism.
I don't get this at all.
And its mission is to guard the discs because it loves the discs.
Yes, what is the stand power?
It's weird. It's like the stand power is that they can move however they want and turn into goop and stuff, I guess. Because, yeah, real plankton is numerous. Like, there's a lot of them. I guess it's that they can talk to each other? I don't know.
They can take over another person's body.
Yeah, which the mechanics on that are murky. No pun intended.
They're just more powerful plankton.
They're just smart. But did he make them
just smart.
And how did he do this? Because if you said to me, like, he just threw a disc in the swamp and that's what happened, I'd be like, okay, fine. But the idea that did
He just selected a plankton and was like, you
You
will help me. And the
this
plankton's
one
like,
creature
I'm a plankton.
I can't even really see. I'm going to give you a CD.
He took out a microscope. He dropped some water on it, and then he found a little plankton, and then he just shoved the CD into it.
If he intended plankton to have a stand, should we assume that he got bored and gave everything else a stand? Are we going to see crocodiles with stands popping out of the swamps?
Oh, please. Yes.
You know what I mean? Every dog and cat must have a stand. Because how do you end up thinking, you know what? Let me talk to this plankton. Or was he like walking by the
Watching
swamp?
SpongeBob.
He's walking by the swamp and the plankton was like, you know, before the Big Bang, something else had to exist.
That was literally galaxy brain shit. I think it's like one of the dumbest things I've ever watched on this television
What are you talking
show.
about?
Dude, do we want to go there? Because I looked up the astronomer that he's quoting, and he's quite a character.
Okay, let's hear it.
All right, well, let me get to that part because that comes later. Hold on.
All right.
Okay. Well, actually, let's just quickly speed through what happens in the middle here. So we just learn a bunch of stuff. Like there's like exposition. Basically, they're like kind of fighting, but like Foo Fighters is explaining to them like how they work, and Jolene is figuring out how they work and stuff. And it gets its energy from water. That's important, and it takes water from the bodies of the victims that it takes over, and it also gets offended. I guess
It gets offended. That's one of its powers.
They get offended when you call them anything but Foo Fighters, which is cool. And then they're like, this scientist, not scientist, this astronomer, Fred Hoyle. Let's see. He said that intellect preceded the Big Bang, and all organisms possess that intellect. That's kind of the main takeaway from that galaxy shit. So that's, but if you look up Fred Hoyle, he actually rejected the Big Bang theory. So he had his own theory that he believed in, which is called panspermia, which is, and it also relates to the beginning of life on Earth. He doesn't believe in like the theory that like of how life started, where it started with small organisms on Earth and they whatever shake and they got bigger, whatever. He doesn't believe in that. He believes in panspermia, which means that, I don't know, life actually started in space, and meteors and shit brought things all around the galaxy, like all the little microorganisms hitchhike around the galaxy.
That's Evangelion.
And that's how that's how life is formed, and something about aliens and something about, he's an atheist, so not creationist stuff. But at first I thought this was creationist shit, like intelligent design stuff. He kind of talks about that a little bit, but I don't think he believes in it. He also came out with his own theory of gravity, which didn't really work all the way. He had a lot of controversial opinions. He was a guy that, like, even if something was like an established like something that scientists all agree on, he was like, no, that's bullshit, and he would come up with his own crazy theory that, like, but it's like this stuff is all like big shit, like the start of the universe, like, no, like, so he would come up with like counter theories to like big things that are really hard to explain, because he didn't like taking people's ideas at face value. Anyway, this is the guy that Araki quoted for his explanation of plankton. This like fringy kind of guy who was well respected as an astronomer, but had a lot of like controversial opinions among scientists and wasn't like, yeah. So
he did his own research.
Interesting guy.
He did his own research for sure. I could have kept reading, but I mostly
He also wrote science fiction novels.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
He wrote some books with his son. How nice.
Aw.
Yeah, I don't know. He sounds cool.
He rejected the Big Bang Theory.
It kind of sounds like maybe Foo Fighters just happens to be a smart plankton for one reason or another.
No.
And just doesn't like humans and is like, you know, you're probably not the first. I read an astronomer, and then because we don't know astronomy, we're like, oh, okay, I guess you have an expert.
No, I think he got all those ideas from Father Pucci or White Snake.
I don't know. What would he be studying that? He's a fucking creationist. If he's a father, a pastor,
yeah.
a priest, I don't know the difference.
Yeah.
Minister.
Yeah, so he was like, cool, I read this Fred Hoyle guy. He doesn't believe in the Big Bang and shit, so let me read him, and oh, cool, let me go like make some plankton into superheroes.
Maybe he saw like the Big Bang Theory and he's like, more like the big crock of shit.
No.
I got my own idea and it involves
Yeah.
the word sperm.
Panspermia. That's what it means. It
Sounds like a condition.
sperm sperm means seed in Latin or whatever, I guess. Greek?
Mm-hmm.
How do you know that?
I just read it in the Wikipedia article about Fred Hoyle.
Okay, cool. I read it in the Wikipedia article as well.
Well, I read it in the panspermia
Earlier.
article that I got from the Fred Hoyle.
That's also what I read. But yeah, so seed, that's where that comes from.
Yeah. Miles, why did you think it was so stupid?
It is pretty insane.
Because it doesn't make any sense.
Me-
Like, why would intelligence just exist in the world?
Well, I guess the question is then why do we think the Big Bang Theory was the beginning? How do we know any of this stuff? He's criticized he has a theory that you can't experiment on, but like, how could you say the Big Bang Theory was the beginning when you don't know?
Because there's evidence of it.
Yeah, there's
Like, they have giant telescopes that can look back into space and time and go like,
They can't look back
kind of
in-
fits
no.
the stuff that they said.
What I'm saying is, you could say the Big Bang Theory, you could say that the Big Bang happened and that is the foundation of life as we know it, but that doesn't mean that it's the first time intellect ever existed. You know what I mean?
It definitely didn't begin with this plankton.
Well, you didn't meet this
Like,
plankton.
aren't intelligent creatures.
Well, intelligent is really not up to you, sir. I think it's fucked up of you to assume that you're intelligent and plankton isn't.
That's true. If we were quizzed on plankton science, we would fail that.
Well, what I mean is like just because they don't care about art or sympathy or whatever, that doesn't mean
We don't know what they care
intelligent
about.
life is.
No, they care about dumb shit
They,
like baseball.
they watch NASCAR.
She does outsmart this plankton, so
Yeah, the two of them outsmart it.
It's at
yeah.
least not as smart
Well, I
as
mean,
them.
they're fairly evenly matched. Just because she got the last word doesn't mean that, this plankton did some smart stuff.
Anyway, Fred Hoyle, what an interesting rabbit hole that Araki led me down after having to look this guy up. I was like, did he
Thanks,
really say
Araki.
that? Yeah.
Well, remember that Araki also had, I haven't really read most of them, if any of them, a side comic series called The Secret Lives of Eccentrics or something like that. And he just would write manga about like what a weirdo Albert Einstein actually was or whatever. He would just like, or Poe or somebody, he would just write about how weird these people were in their private lives. And he has some comics on that. So he definitely looks up weirdos because he is a weirdo himself.
Yes.
Why do you think the plankton named themselves Foo Fighters?
They like rock music. That's also like what they
Or
yell.
UFOs.
Right.
Mm.
Technically,
Is that why?
That's where that name comes from.
UFOs?
Yeah, Miles, what's the origin? Do you know that?
That's just like it's just like a nickname for UFOs.
From like the 60s or something, maybe?
Really?
70s?
Yeah, that's what they called them.
Oh, that makes sense. So it's like alien plankton, but he's not
Yeah.
an alien. It's not an alien. They're not an alien.
And I think they yell foo foo or foo ah when they attack. Technically.
That's cute.
Yeah.
I really hate that why did we choose FF for the name for this?
Because Araki actually does that in a lot of materials, and in the comic, they just call her FF.
Oh, really?
They don't call her Foo Fighters a lot of the time, yeah.
Oh, because I think FF sounds dumb. They should at least like come up with a different, like something else that starts with FF.
I think in Japanese, it's probably more fun to say like efu efu,
Yeah.
That's
All right.
closer to what it sounds like, and that is fun to do.
Anyway, so FF goes after explaining science to them. FF goes and hides the discs, or goes to hide the discs. They run to the storehouse. Meanwhile, like the other half of FF, which I believe is the stand, that's my feeling, is in the water, pulling the guard into the water because he has the bracelet that can blow them up. So it starts pulling, but it's pulling him into the water very slowly.
Because I think most of its mass, because I think it is all the same stuff, but I think a lot of its mass went to run for the discs. So it's like a lower power version grabbing the guard.
Okay.
But there's this fun part where Jolene is like going to go into the storehouse.
No, well, Jolene is like, because Aramis is like, oh, but we got to take care of this first. I don't want to blow up. And Jolene's like, I'll let you handle that. I'm gonna go make sure that he doesn't hide the discs. You go get the guard and bring him closer to me so that I don't blow up. Bye. And then she just like runs to the storehouse.
It's very scary to have someone just delegate a giant task on you that, the possible outcome is you both explode.
It's kind of their first time working together.
Yeah, Jolene has a lot of faith in Hermes. Seems to pay off, but boy howdy, I would not do the same thing.
I think she's so cool.
Which one?
Jolene.
Yeah, she's great.
She just punches people for no reason.
Not for no reason. Look, they all had it coming.
Okay.
And it's just a punch. If you need to figure out who the imposter is, the imposter among us, then you should just hit everybody.
I don't like it.
I think it's a good idea.
I wouldn't want to be punched.
Yeah, well, it's better than being killed.
Mm.
It's like The Thing, except
that's a great attitude, Mark.
Much shorter. It is. There's a lot of things that I get through and I say, hey, it's better than being killed. At least that's not happening.
Was someone going to say something?
Maybe.
Okay. Anyway, so Hermes is trying to take the guard away from the one half of Foo Fighters, and she puts a sticker on her own arm and I guess lets Foo Fighter rip her arm off. And then she takes the Snicker.
She takes the Snickers bar out of her pocket.
She takes the sticker off, and then her hand comes back to her. I don't know what that does. I guess it's just so that she can escape because it's holding onto a part of her, but then she can snap it back.
It's like, so you cloned one arm knowing that it would grab that arm? Then why'd you even punch at it? I guess it's just like to throw it off balance so you can then...
Yeah.
It's like a misdirect so you can grab the guard and run away.
And then it launches onto her by launching some goo into the air that like hits her. And then, but she's near the bodies that have been sucked all the water out of.
Right. When Foo Fighters like exited those corpses, probably it just took all the moisture with it. So they're just like dry, sandy corpses.
Yes. And so she puts a sticker on the body and then takes it off, and the body snaps all back together, and it just creates a big explosion of dust that absorbs all the water in Foo Fighters, and that part of Foo Fighters dies.
Yeah, for the most part. But then she says like, shut the fuck up, and she kicks it and it like breaks apart. This stuff is like dubious to me because it's like, but you were in those corpses with Liquid and you made the corpses people that could walk and talk. Mm-hmm. But I guess like because like the corpse exploded, that it just becomes a bunch of dust that soaks up FF and she can't figure out what to do with it. I don't know. It's a little bit murky. I like that word a lot.
When it snaps back together, it's just like too much and it just...
I guess, but I don't know. I guess, I don't know. I like my theory just that when you're already a person or a corpse, she can get in the fluid and is like, all right, well, I know what to do. All the parts are here. You know, the bloodstream, the mouth, the stuff. It's all together. But then if you're just a pile of corpsey dust, then Foo Fighters just gets confused and wet mud. Bullshit. Anyway, Hermes manages to defeat this part of Foo Fighters and takes the corpse's body back to the shed where Jolene is.
And Jolene, meanwhile, gets to the storehouse, and Foo Fighters is there. Looked like it was messing with something on a truck. And Foo Fighters starts talking to Jolene and is like, I was gonna hide this disc, but no matter. Anyway, are you gonna step on this puddle that I've made, or are you gonna run for your life? How do you want to die? And you know, Foo Fighter made a puddle out of some leaky hose that it then just like hit it so that more water would
it
come
like
out.
punctured a sink spigot.
Yeah,
and the water's just spraying everywhere.
And so Jolene steps into the puddle, and Jolene is like, I got some questions for you. Who's Pale Snake? And what are they planning to achieve? And Foo Fighters is like, I don't understand what you're doing all here. I understand why you tried to save your friend, but I don't understand why you come here to die.
No, I think it says it's like in the manga at least. It's like,
and then it's like, unfortunately, I don't know who Pale Snake is. I've never met him.
I just remember that it's weird. Foo Fighters says something like, I understand why you'd fight to save yourself. Yes. I don't quite know why you would fight to save other people, but I kind of get it. It's like, what?
Yeah,
what the fuck?
yeah.
But yeah, it just doesn't seem that interested in talking about Whitesnake. It doesn't go on a long rant about how much it loves Whitesnake and the Whitesnake user. It just doesn't seem that interested. And then this is when Jolene throws a thread a thread from Stone Ocean.
Well, she
Stone
just
Free.
kind of like, she does her like Spider-Man web shot and it hits the truck.
No, she tries to get it to the truck, and Fu breaks it apart, right?
I don't know. Anyway, they fight, and the puddle is like it's its whole body of Foo Fighters. It's just a million little Foo Fighter goos, and
It's going to take over Jolene. It's kind of one at this point.
it's like your body is the perfect vessel, and there's like goo inside Jolene's eye, and she's like, "You already lost." She's like, Jolene is like, "You already lost. You had to make the water go everywhere. Wrong move." Which I don't really understand how that was the wrong move. But anyway,
Well, it seems like so.
she was like, "You didn't hear me start the tractor because you were
Well,
so
that was the
busy.
problem, yeah.
You were so busy getting water slippy splashing everywhere.
Slippy splashing everywhere. Yeah.
Splish splash." I
She
was
says you
taking a
didn't
bath.
hear it because you were dumping water everywhere. Which,
Bang, 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 bang.
if you're indoors and a tractor is started, I kind of think it's going to be loud and you're going to hear it. Maybe it's one of these.
It's an electric tractor.
I was going to say it's an
So
electric tractor. Couldn't hear it over the pipes breaking.
Yeah, and so the tractor is just driving off on its own, and
Oh, do they show her string like wrapped around the foot
Yes,
pedal and stuff? I
yes.
love that she's just like, I don't know, fuck it. It's going to just keep going in one direction.
and so the tractor is going away from them. Foo Fighters runs after it. Hermes is also running after it, and Foo Fighters starts to melt in the farm dirt.
In the soil that
In the
I
soil.
guess is
Dry, I guess.
It's dusty.
it's absorbing all the water.
Yeah.
And so like
It's not as like muddy as it was by the water before where they were
yeah.
in the wetlands.
Or it's just like it's going to absorb water, like that's what it does by design, I guess, for crops. Look, we don't know shit about farms.
Yeah, I don't know what it's doing.
We're not out in fucking Lehigh Valley, all right?
But its legs are gone. And Hermes is like, "Ha, you suck." And-
You suck.
And
Just like
Hermes,
the ground sucked you.
Hermes like goes
That's right,
to
baby.
grab some dirt and smush it all over the Foo Fighters.
We'll just throw more dry shit so it like absorbs the foo.
And Jolene is nice and is like, "No, I'm gonna give it some water. I want to let it live because I'm a nice person." No, she was like, "Look, it was just protecting the discs because it gave it gave Foo Fighters intellect and like powers and a purpose, and so it had gratitude towards the discs, so that's why it protects them, but it doesn't care about Pale Snake."
Yeah, but then Hermes makes the argument like it just killed 5 people, and Jolene tries to get like moral relativist and be like, but if it's not a person, it's not really guilty of murder or whatever. But like this plankton is humanoid enough to like care what a human philosopher astronomer thinks, and is human enough to be like, I'm smarter than you stupid humans. Like if you're that much of a persona, then you're a murderer if you're killing people. At least, I mean, certainly not someone you could trust to have empathy and not kill you if you save it.
It's aware enough.
It's a what?
It's aware enough. Aware of.
Listen.
Oh, aware enough.
It's interspecies. It doesn't count.
What?
It doesn't count.
Well, yeah, I think that's the thing. Is like, well, if it's not a person, then it. But like, look, sure, a bear doesn't murder people. Okay, if a bear kills you, it's not murder, but it killed
No.
you.
Yeah.
You know, it's a philosophical distinction that holds no importance. You put the bear down.
No.
It
depends.
I guess like if
Then
the bear
again-
attacked people who like left food everywhere and then they hit the bear and the bear killed them, then I'd be like, yeah, fuck those people. We're not gonna do that.
I think what they do though is they do put the bear down if the bear gets used to being around people, you know, like and eating them.
The moment the bear gets comfortable,
If the bear tastes human flesh, then it's like, okay, well, all bets are off. They're now comfortable.
the bear actually sends a threatening letter that says, all bets are off. I like the way you taste.
What about eating meat? Should we be murdered for eating meat?
Yes.
I think the animals have a right to take that off. I mean, I'm saying good luck if pigs and cows want to start like storming into town. I'm not saying I'd let them do it, but I'd understand,
Yeah.
you know? Anyway, I don't know. Jolene
That's a different show.
I guess Jolene was right to trust Hermes. Hermes was capable and figured out a way to kill that part of FF that came out of the swamp. But yeah, Jolene puts a lot of trust. Maybe she's read other parts of JoJo, and she knows like if you just defeat them like pretty handily, they'll be humiliated, and then you're nice, and they become your friend. And she did encounter Guess, and Guess is like her BFF now, or wants to be her BFF.
The story of JoJo's is one of forgiveness.
I think that's
kind
true.
of.
Except for Dio.
What do you mean?
They'll never forgive Dio.
But we all like him.
Oh, what if there was a season where Dio becomes their friend?
It's like that Evangelion side comic where they just go to school and things are nice.
Oh shit.
That would be fun.
They could never do it because then he would just take over the show. It wouldn't be JoJo anymore. It would be Dio's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah, he would just, they would just like, they'd be going to class in Morio, and he would just suddenly suck all the blood out of one of the substitute teachers, and they'd be like, Dio, what are you doing?
You can't do that.
Anyway, so Jolene decides to...
So Jolene is like, let's make a deal, Plankton. Keep doing what you've been doing, but do it for us.
Guard the discs for our sake.
From Pale Snake, specifically. White Snake.
Right. Although FF tells them here or before that they're like, oh yeah, White Snake's user can't do anything with these discs. They're not important.
That's later.
Is it later? Okay.
Yeah. So, and so Jolene is telling Foo Fighters, I want to get back the disc that was my father's and learn about White Snake. And that's it. You can have the rest of the discs. And Jolene's like, and no more killing. And Foo Fighters is like, I don't understand, but I don't feel like fighting. So, okay. And then back in the storehouse, Jolene is looking through the discs and she finds her dad's stand power. Star Platinum, but doesn't find the memory disc. And she tries to use the Star Platinum disc, but it rejects her. And so she's looking, she can't find her dad's disc. It doesn't just reject her,
she flies backwards into a tractor when she tries to put Star Platinum in her head. The CD like pops out and she flies backwards, like as though the stand hit her or something.
And then now Foo Fighters comes into the storehouse, but this time she is Egg Girl. Etro.
And she's just talking like everything's normal, and they're freaking out.
And she's like, I'd like to be called Foo Fighters. And she's like, I'm in this body. It was the only usable. This body was the only usable one. But these fingers aren't usable, and like a finger falls off. And she's like, and they're like, you're not going to go back to prison as her. And she's like, yep, my new mission is to protect you. And she gets all of Atro's memories, and she's like, Atro's dream was she always dreamed of being kidnapped. So she kidnapped a child the way that she wanted to be kidnapped.
So I think what Araki isn't saying here that I kind of have to think is true is I feel like Atro had a bad family life and just wanted to be like taken away.
Oh.
That's my like, assumption.
Like her life is so bad at home that she's like, oh, I wish somebody would just like kidnap me and like, you know, make me eat ice cream and take me to the park.
And then I'm gonna write more fan fiction here and assume that Etro either assumed or learned that this kid was, you know, unhappy at home, and so she decided to kidnap the kid without thinking too much past all that.
That's what you're giving Araki more credit.
I just don't know what else you would say that for. I don't know what else you would mean.
I think the first part makes sense. I think that she just kidnapped a random girl at the park and was like, and gave her a fantasy kidnapping, which was still super scary and traumatizing. So
the thing that is cut from the anime here, I don't know why they did this really, but in the manga, not only does Foo Fighters tell you about Etro's like reason for being incarcerated in fantasy, but also says that Etro uses 4 squares of toilet paper.
Is that where the app Foursquare comes from?
Well, the way I saw it translated was 4 segments of toilet paper, but I'm saying 4 squares.
Okay.
And also says that Johnny Depp was her favorite actress, and then actor. My bad.
I was like, wait a minute.
No, they say actor,
okay.
And then apparently the Foo Fighters just goes scissor hands. Oh, scissors are awesome.
Okay.
Like thinking about Edward Scissorhands,
dude, I
Johnny
love
Depp
scissors.
movie. Yeah, I don't know. So okay. I'm really And then there's this bit too where you think that like Foo Fighters is going to heal Jolene and Hermes because both of their arms are bleeding from the fight.
That happens in the show.
Yeah.
And she just licks
Yeah.
them.
Oh yeah. I'm done reading the manga
Okay.
stuff. My bad.
And then she licks their hands.
It seems like she's
arms.
going to heal them. Like she's going to be like, oh, with my goop, I can heal you. But then she just tries to lick the blood. They shove her off. She starts drinking water off the ground with a snake tongue.
No, yeah. So basically, they have to teach her how to be a person because she's a fucking animal.
I'm excited for this because this just makes me think of Miki Taka.
Yes.
And who else have we seen who's just a complete fish out of water weirdo? And they're like, please be human. Is it just Miki Taka?
That's the big one.
That's who I thought of. And I'm wondering if this is a weirder idea.
Yeah.
And I think it is.
It is weirder. And it's also like something I thought of just during our conversation here is that was the plankton pre-intelligent or did Poochie just give a CD of someone else's memories and stand to this plankton? And that this like fucker
yeah,
who
maybe it
reads,
just gave him a bunch of memories. So with all the memories, that was able to form like a smart being.
into
the plankton.
It's very interesting to think about, you know, as though like one CD touched by a bunch of plankton equals one being. But
I think I think it was one plankton at first that then replicated.
One little plankton.
Yep.
Just one little guy.
How come some of the CDs have goop on them? Is that part of it?
I don't know.
I think that's just when Whitesnake's ability of the cum dreams, it just leaves some goop on the CDs.
There's a lot of goop in this season.
It's very goopy.
It's very goopy. Gooey.
Yeah. More like Goo Ocean.
I feel like every time we are introduced to stand, I'm like, this one should have been called Goo Goo Dolls. Like every time there's a new stand, I'm like, this one should have been called Goo Goo Dolls.
Well, this one's almost Foo Fighters. It's pretty close. You got the goo, you got the foo.
This one could have been Goo Goo Dolls because you got the goo and you got the dolls. Like it inhabits all the people,
yeah.
like their little puppets.
Little puppets. We've had plenty of puppets in JoJo's.
Anyway, so we learned from Foo Fighters that these discs are all the discs that Whitesnake's user didn't want and couldn't use.
Which is
the CDs rejected him, and that's it.
Yeah, it's weird because sometimes it seems like, oh yeah, these are the ones that Whitesnake couldn't use, and at first I thought that meant like didn't like them or didn't want them, and it's like you didn't think Star Platinum, who can stop time, was useful, but I think it's just if you're not a match for it, then it doesn't matter. So I don't know if all the stands in there are very powerful or if it's just like not compatible with Father Poochie.
But we learned that the memory is the important thing. That what he really wanted was the memory disc of Jotaro because he has some kind of secret.
And then so they tell Foo Fighters like, you got to learn to drink from a cup, and she's like, that's easy. And then we see that they're about to be apprehended, and Jolene's like, look, let's get our story straight.
Well, this is the part where she puts the disc in her boobies.
Oh, this is important. Go ahead.
Yeah, because they were talking about, like, I was just talking about the disc. And so she's like, okay, well, we need to hold on to the stand disc so we can give this back to Jotaro. And she's like, oh, but they're like, they're going to search us. How are we going to get the disc back? Foo Fighters is like, oh, I'll just make my boobs a couple cup sizes bigger. And she just puts it right in between. But they're definitely going to pat down our boobs when they're that big.
Of course they're going to. Well, okay. I just mean
but
that they're going to
inside her body, right? They're not like just hidden in her cleavage.
No, I think they're hidden in her
Well, that's
cleavage.
the thing is you wouldn't really need to make them that much bigger to just fit it inside your body.
That's true.
It's silly.
So do they now have a plan, or Jolene now has a plan for reviving Jotaro, right?
Yeah.
Like she's going to put the CD in him or whatever.
But she needs one more CD. She needs the memories too.
No, I think that they state that, or Hermes says that like, oh yeah, maybe it's only in the comic, but it's something like, yeah, that McQueen guy has no memories.
Mm-hmm.
So I think McQueen had his stand disc, but not his memory disc, and he's still like functioning. So the idea is that she doesn't want her dad to start like rotting away because he has no discs. So she's like, this is what we have. We'll give it to him. And he won't die.
No disc error.
But he'll still be missing a disc. He'll still be in the middle of the game and it says, please insert disc 2.
Oh, man.
And you're like, oh, where's disc 2?
And you're like, God damn it, I lent disc 2 to my friend and now I can't play the second half of Final Fantasy 7 or whatever.
Yeah.
Foo Fighters 7.
Oh yeah, FF.
I know, that's what I said.
That was your first one.
that
Yeah,
was the
Final
first
Fantasy.
one. So yeah, and then the cops come to get them, and they're like, okay, we'll get our story straight. We're going to say the alligator got the cop, and we don't know what happened to the rest of the prisoners.
They are not going to believe them.
It's true.
Who would believe that?
Yeah.
I mean,
don't
like,
know.
they do have some scrapes on them, but it's just like, we don't know what happened. We were just here. Like, you didn't hear people blowing up and drying out? What the fuck is this?
And then we cut to. I wrote down Whitesnake is like, did she defeat Foo Fighters by herself? But do we see Father Pucci at this point? No. Do we? What do we see?
It's like a transition where we see Whitesnake talking to itself, being like, I used Jolene as bait just to get Jotaro, but seems like Jolene made friends and defeated Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
like, did she defeat Foo Fighters by herself, or did she make some friends? And then a guard is like, Father, the sun will be setting soon. We got to go back to the prison. And then
we see the user.
we see the user is we also see that there's like a finger, a gooey finger twitching on the floor. And that's when we see Father Pucci. He said something. He said, Father Pucci, you got to give the service on, or he said something about he's giving the service on Sunday. So
He says, like, we got to get back and stuff. And then, yeah, Pucci says something like, oh, yeah, we have the time or something until I have to go give the service.
So he's a hot priest that
Is he hot?
that does service for the church people. Yeah, he's hot.
His hairline connects to his eyebrows, connects to his facial hair or something. That's hot. We all know that.
think
Is this
he's
a
a-
reference to Poochie from the Itchy and Scratchy show?
Yeah, when he said, I have to go now, my planet needs me, he just went to Florida. Was it Pucci who has to leave in that famous, like,
Yes.
My Planet Needs Me? Yeah, I got to rewatch that. But for anybody who's ever seen the My Planet Needs Me meme, it's from The Simpsons, and it's great. Jackie, are you familiar with that meme? I have to go, my planet needs me, and you just float off the screen?
No,
Missing out.
I don't care.
All right.
Anyway, that's all of so we're introduced to finally, I guess he's the main bad guy. He seems like he's the main bad guy.
He's the main priest.
He's the main priest. He's given the service on Sunday. What if he has his own like Joe Bro gang, but they're like the bad guys and they're all like clergymen? It's like him and there's like a rabbi and there's like a
I didn't think you'd go outside the Christian religion. I was thinking you'd say cardinal and stuff.
no, and
There's
then there's
Whoopi Goldberg from Sister Act.
Yep.
oh okay. Well, and then there's an imam, and then there's that's
A
it.
monk of some kind.
A monk. Yes. Shindo
A Shinto priest.
Shinto priest.
A spaghetti monster.
Oh, one of the a shrine maiden.
That's just like a girl. That's just like
Yes.
a Japanese girl.
She's got incense and
She's got incense,
pretty.
wine, and candles.
she has pretty long hair.
And she's haunted. Yeah, this was a really good episode. I'm so glad that we now have another Joe Bro. I'm glad that we meet a priest because, God, this show needed religion. I didn't like all this astronomy talk, anti-intelligent design stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that's happening. Yeah, did you guys enjoy the episode?
Yes.
Yeah, it was good. I'm very excited for Atro / Plankton
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, whatever the fuck she is. Half person, half plankton, half egg.
Because everyone else seems to be so excited for her.
I was just gonna say everybody seems to love her. So hope she's good.
Yeah, I barely remember her. I know a few things about her, and I forgot about her weird origin that she doesn't really look like that that's just somebody's body that... How is that the most usable? You let her blow up. But anyway.
Yeah, all the other ones were dried up.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
They were all just
She
dust
liked
in the
that
wind.
body.
She wasn't gonna use the cop's body,
She was like,
the guard's body.
That's
girl,
right.
look at that body. And then she took it for herself. How many more musical references can I shove in here? Miles, did you see that thing on Twitter where all the Beatles hated making Maxwell's Silver Hammer?
Yes.
And then Paul is just like,
Except
oh,
Paul.
it took 3 days to make. Big deal. Everyone hates it. And everyone's like, it took weeks. Anyway,
Yes, they didn't like Maxwell Silverhammer.
it's sort of a stupid song.
Bang, bang.
I think Frank Hoyle actually coined the term Big Bang Theory.
Fred. I see.
Fred, whatever his name is.
Why would he coined it to like make fun of it? He's like, what, their Big Bang Theory?
That was originally what people thought. Like, people were like offended. They were like, oh, how dare you call it Big Bang Theory to make fun of it? And he's like, no, I was just trying to distinguish it from my theory that whatever. I was just trying to give it a name. So he denies that it was being a meanie. He denies he was being a meanie.
Before him, they called it the Ba-Boom Theory. He made it a little bit classier.
It was probably like a big fancy sign, like the theory of the beginning of the da-da-da by so-and-so fancy guy.
Explodospermia theory.
No.
That's what I think. I'm no Greek expert, but checks out to me. Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. Unless, do you guys have any other thoughts?
No.
Is it over?
No.
Well, we're excited. I'm excited to go watch the next episode, which we can only do after we finish the podcast and save ourselves from the prison of the previous episode of JoJo's. So thank you for listening, listener. You can follow us on Twitter. We are at JJBpod. Please give us a nice review on iTunes or Spotify. 5 stars is the max and the one you should give us. And you can find us on YouTube, too. There's a JoJo's Bizarre Podcast YouTube channel. If you want to just see some bars dance while we talk. And yeah, our email is jojosbizarrepod@gmail.com if you have any long thoughts you want to tell us. Other than that, we will talk to you next week. Stay safe, and goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.